and probably about 3 or 4 other platforms. But before we get too far down the roads, let's get some good lighting. Let's get some popcorn and some good shareable links. And we're going to see my favorite VTuber, Nuxanor, spill the beans on a couple of things. But before we do, if you would, please hit the like and subscribe buttons as... well, it'd just be nice. Be very, very nice. Now, I'm not going to play the video on this, as I feel that's kind of cringe and scummy. And also, I have other family members who really want to see this one for themselves, as they're mostly conservative themselves, and this is very interesting. And by the way, the headwear is to protect myself from accusations that I'm ending up like Asmongold. Whether that's true or not is no one's business, but if it is starting to happen, I'm grabbing the white hair dye and I'm shaving it off to look like Patrick Stewart from friggin' Star Trek The Next Generation, so... the evil look I'm getting right now says a lot. I am semi-kidding? Semi-kidding? Uh-oh. The image just found my way into the doghouse. Well, let's just hope I don't have to dig my way out of that one. Now, how do you post to Instagram? I've never done that before. Post. Anyway, this is so entertaining. It's got to be Nuxanor, right?
N-bomb, hard R, nuclear. Apparently, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary of the White House of the United States of America, apparently she dropped some nukes on this press.
I'm sharing around. Everyone can hear me.
Hamas Piker's favorite
So,
organization
YouTube, by the way.
literally went nuclear on every other news industry out there. Is beefing with Elon Musk or something.
Okay, the beef with Elon Musk, to add context, is about the big, beautiful bill. I haven't read the bill for myself. I had Grok summarize it for me. I like the idea of the tax cuts. I like the spending cuts. I like a lot of the stuff in there. But Elon is right. A lot of this stuff is going to be expensive. It's going to have to, the money's going to have to come from somewhere. So Trump probably has something up his sleeve as far as that's concerned. But moving on, that's not what this video is about.
Lock in, boys and girls. We are going to go crazy today. Very excited, especially because, from what I understand, the government is going to start looking into Hassan Piker, the largest leftist political streamer, because apparently pushing terrorist propaganda is getting people killed. So
okay. This is the part I wanted to step my toes into. Actually. Let's go. Here we go. What is material support for terrorism? Here we go. Material support for terrorism is defined as providing resources or services that can be used to plan, prepare, carry out, or avoid apprehension for committing an act of terrorism. This includes providing any property, tangible or intangible, or service, including currency, financial services, lodging, expert advice, or assistance. So, the implications of this are not good for Hassan. There is evidence of him openly promoting and effectively recruiting, more or less, for these organizations without so much as providing an address, but promoting their cause nonetheless to stir up trouble. Here's the problem with that. You can't do that. That is against the law. Okay? Freedom of speech does not protect you from this charge. It is a federal crime to provide material support for designated terrorist organizations. And it does not have to be directly fundraising either. One of the ways that you can do that is by providing propaganda or spreading propaganda for a terrorist organization. As an example, saying that a terrorist fucking riot, or rather parade, supporting a terrorist organization is pure music. Quote, Hassan Piker. So, he fucked around. Now he's going to find the fuck out. And we're going to listen to what Nux's opinion is on this, and I'll kind of offer up a little bit of logistical input on this.
Hey, you. Lock in, boys and girls. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
How are you? Good.
Hello.
Good to see all of you.
Hello.
I want to start by...
I'm really disappointed she's not wearing her cross today. I feel like today, of all days, you need the cross. CNN asks you a bullshit question, you just pick up the cross, and they turn to ash. I'm feeling... We're missing something here.
What a coincidence.
On Sunday in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, he said to pick up the cross. I'm wearing one.
Hearts go out to the victims, and they are in our prayers during this unimaginable time.
Yeah, awful. I covered that. Yeah.
According to reporting from Fox News, the alleged attacker admitted in an interview that he wanted to kill all Zionist people.
According to Hassan, that means he's not anti-Semitic. That's the new leftist grift, by the way. The new leftist grift is just people saying, oh no, you're just killing Zionists in America, not Jews.
Had been planning the attack for over a year.
A year planning the attack.
A year. That's the what one was that? Was that the Jewish shooting or the flamethrower guy? Let's back that up.
You need the cross. CNN asks you a bullshit question, you just pick up the cross.
Oh yeah, no. Cross and holy water, dude.
We're missing something here.
That took place on Sunday in Boulder, Colorado.
Okay, yeah, that's the flamethrower asshole. That's what I thought.
Okay. Jewish Americans on fire in an attempt to burn them alive. The victims at the incident location in Boulder were there to rally in support of Israeli hostages who remain in Hamas captivity. 12 were injured, including a Holocaust survivor. This is pure evil. The Department of Justice has already filed federal hate crime charges against the alleged perpetrator, and he will be held accountable to the fullest extent.
Bro's a terrorist. Bro is a terrorist in the United States of America.
I've been kind of keeping my peace about that a little bit, but I think I'm going to detriment my channel just a little bit by speaking my fucking mind for about 2 seconds. Are you ready for this one? I think that we let a lot of things slide in this country. I don't mean as in the law. I mean as in us civilians, we the people. We let a lot of things slide. We try to... We definitely play nicer than most. But there's just going to come a point in time where certain aspects of our culture that we thought we left behind in the Old West and in fantasy and comic books, I'm going to leave it at a gun in the hand is better than a cop on the phone. And a cop on the phone in an emergency with no other alternative plan is you in a casket. Most of the time. Okay? If you're in that kind of a situation. Now, places like Colorado, New York, California, Illinois, New Jersey, I could go on, but I won't. But I could. Washington, D.C. They like to play this little game of you don't need to be able to defend yourself. Well, I got a little news flash for them. The only thing you can defend, and I mean truly defend, is yourself. So... not sponsored by any shop or like SDI.edu or any of those places. I'm not sponsored nor affiliated with them, but Look into it. Educate yourself. Go talk to your local your NFL, your local FFL. See what it takes to become a legal, responsible gun owner. You know, these things are more important to our society than you've been told. Moving on.
This tragedy is a sobering reminder of the consequences of the Biden administration's failed policies.
Biden?
Yes.
Dude was an illegal immigrant.
Thank you. I'll let Nux talk here in a minute. Biden's failed policies pushed for gun control. These people were disarmed out in the public, and this monster had weapons, and they had no means to defend themselves. And he was here illegally, which I'll let Nux cover that one.
She's right. She's literally just right.
The Department of Homeland Security. The Boulder suspect is an Egyptian national who was in the United States illegally. He entered the U.S. during the Biden administration in August 2022 on a B-2 visa until it expired. Upon the visa expiration, he overstayed, filed an asylum claim, and was given a work authorization by the Biden administration.
So instead of deploying ICE to remove the illegal alien, they let someone from Egypt who was obviously a threat stick around and be a threat. I really do think that's getting dangerously close to causing material support to a threat to the United States from a former president. Gillette administration.
Supporting this heinous individual, Joe
Just
Biden's
thought.
administration allowed him to stay in our country and to work.
Crazy.
President Trump sounded the
Actually
alarm over
insane.
these reckless Biden policies for years because this is the predictable result of letting anti-American radicals and illegal immigrants pour into our country.
She's completely right. Everything she's saying is correct. There should be no people.
Okay. Instead of letting him speak his opinion, I'm gonna spit a little fact here. This is Trident gum. Okay. This is a puppy dog. This is my baby. No, you can't have this. No. This is worse for you than anti-American illegal immigrants are to the country. Actually, to have the same effect. So, get down. Point proven. Not everything out there is safe. We live in a first world country, so we think that everything is safe and okay. There's a very harsh reality to this world. Have you ever actually walked up to a wild grizzly bear and tried to give it some head scritchies? I guarantee it'll give you way more than just head scritchies. It might actually remove your head. It's the same thing. We do not live in a pro-America world. We do not live in a world where people are our neighbors no matter where they are, no matter what some naive fool would tell you. And at this point, it's not naivety. It's them trying to push a corrupt agenda of trying to make America fail. And they're trying to play the long game at it. We're not going to play that game. They're vetted or they don't get in.
In America that are not American citizens that hate America. If you're not an American citizen, with all due respect, get a frick out of here. Get out. We don't need you here. We don't need people here that are like death to America in America. If they're not American citizens, remove them. Holy shit. It's like, it's obvious. And these people, they've all been posting about this for years. Right? This dude was planning this attack for a year. People found his old Facebook account and he's been saying this shit forever. Bro, get them out.
Immigration.
And by the way, important to note, most Christians are Zionists. Zionists just means people that think the country of Israel has the right to exist. Most people in America are Zionists, alright? You get people like Hassan Piker on Twitch, essentially condoning violence to just random Americans.
Security is national security.
Newsflash.
The Trump administration, at the direction of our great president, has secured our border, strengthened our immigration system, and has taken immediate steps to protect the United States from foreign terrorists and other public safety threats.
Incredibly based. Incredibly, unfathomably based. We gotta make America a country of people that actually like America. And if you're not an American citizen, and you're in America, and you're shitting on America, with all due respect, get the fuck out. It's that easy. It's literally that easy.
President
It's
Trump
so
acted
simple.
swiftly upon taking office to reform our visa issuance process to ensure that dangerous aliens who are intent on harming Americans or our national security interests are no longer admitted into our country. Under the Trump administration, aliens will only be admitted into the United States through the legal process only if they do not bear hostile attitudes towards our citizens, our culture, our government, our institutions, or most importantly, our founding principles. Under President Trump, the United States has zero tolerance for foreign visitors.
Dude, I'm so happy that finally we're living in an era where people are not, like, suicidally empathetic. It's like, I know that you want to cause the downfall of Western civilization, but please...
What he's talking about there, suicidal empathy, is where you have zero concern for you or your own people, and you're willing to do anything for anyone else, even if they harbor ill will or a desire to destroy you and your own. I just figured I would throw that into a little bit of context.
Please join us. Please, I know you're a racist.
I do not believe in it.
Listen, if we don't accept you, that'll make some people racist. So let's let you in. Guys, you want to hear a funny joke? So there was a Christian and a Muslim that were in England arguing with each other, and they arrested the Christian. That was it. That was the whole joke. Was it funny?
You support terrorism.
It's only funny, a little funny, if you understand the context of the joke. So, Britain and England and a lot of Europe are actually what we're kind of deeming online as captured nations because they've been overrun by Islamist extremists that like to do nothing but cause violence and harm to those that do not believe the way that they do. And so the second that, anyone from Europe decided to stand up and say something about it, they were branded as, racist or racism or Islamophobia or some other phobia, right? Because, you have to be afraid of them. It's not just that you find them repulsive and disgusting, and incompatible with your way of life, right? It's totally what it is. It's totally your, it's totally always your fault. It's never theirs. It's like the quintessential gaslighting, if you will. You'll never see it anywhere but on the left. Or, well, I would say that, but we've seen similar things on the right, just not to this degree. Back when the Patriot Act was passed, we had a lot of people that were willing to throw a lot of their rights away in exchange for more safety. So, just keep aware.
Violators of U.S. law, including international students, will continue to face visa denial or revocation and deportation. And illegal alien criminals will continue to be arrested and deported from our country.
Good.
I don't see a problem with that.
Dude, I get so much hate for like these opinions. Like, I'm not being empathetic enough. With all due respect, fuck your empathy. Your empathy is retarded. Enough of this. Enough of this!
Federal law enforcement partners just wrapped up a month-long surge operation arresting nearly 1,500 illegal aliens in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. During the enhanced operation, dubbed Operation Patriot, ICE Boston and other federal law enforcement personnel focused on transnational organized crime, gangs.
Yeah, I heard about this. Largest ever ICE operation results in nearly 1,500 illegals arrested in Blue State. Unfathomably based. Enough suicidal empathy. No more empathy for the cruel. Empathy to the cruel is cruelty to the innocent. You are the bad guy. Sorry, I care about Americans.
And dangerous illegal alien offenders throughout Mass. More than half of the nearly 1,500 illegals arrested had significant criminal convictions or charges pending against them. Here are just some of the violent illegal aliens who were removed from
let's go, dude. Let's go.
During Operation Patriot.
Yeah, the news is trying to both sides this. I know. Dude, these virtue signaling, fake empathetic.
You gotta be kidding me, right? There's, oh man, you don't hate these idiots in the press enough. There is no both fucking sides here. There's no both sides to be had. A guy who lit someone on fire and injured a Holocaust survivor, he's on the enemy list for the rest of his natural life, and I would not be surprised if some of his family followed suit. them. You know what? I'm done being nice when it comes to people who want to scream death to America. No. Go wipe your backside with your hands like you have for the last 10,000 years. You don't deserve our toilet paper. You don't deserve our food. Go eat pork. I said it. You're already unclean as it is.
Social justice retards.
And no,
try so
I ain't
hard
taking
to
that
make
one
this
back.
size issue. It's like, actually, it's very nuanced. Actually, it's not nuanced, and you're retarded and lame and gay.
A Salvadorian national with active Interpol red notice for
Oh my
aggravated
God.
homicide. A Guatemalan national and registered sex offender who has
Why?
pending criminal charges in
Why?
for 5 counts of indecent assault and
Oh
battery
my
on a
Lord.
person 14 or over.
Oh my
A
God.
Honduran national who was last arrested for rape, indecent assault,
Oh
and
my
battery
God.
of a person 14 or over. A Colombian national
Operation Patriot, bring out the wood chipper.
charged with kid.
The wood chipper ain't good enough. Bust out the diesel and the friggin' gasoline and the oil. We gotta burn what the wood chipper spits out. There can't be nothing left of that bullshit. And then send the ashes where they came from. With a note. Keep your trash to your fucking self.
Kidnapping, aggravated rape, and indecent assault
Holy
and battery on a person 14 or over. And a Guatemalan national who was convicted of murder in Boston. Also, a
What is
Brazilian
even happening?
national who was charged with aggravated rape of a child by force
Oh my
and
God.
possession of child pornography. Again, these are people who are living.
Oh my god. And you liberal fucking morons wanted to let these fuckers in droves without so much as a single fucking background check? I got a better idea. Why don't you go do what those 2 Senate staffers did, except not in our friggin' political centers of power. Why don't you go to a back alley and just go
And bend over?
bend each other over and go circle jerk each other and daisy chain each other until you're fucking satisfied. Because we're done receiving it. You need to just keep that shit to yourself. Stop endangering our country for your fucking ideology.
In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, thank God. Thank God they're getting
It's down.
rid of them. And may they continue
It's the
to get
insight
rid of them.
terminus, baby. It's
Right,
down
listen,
here.
Breaking into the country illegally is a crime. In my opinion, the punishment for that crime, kicking them the fuck out of the country. All right? These are all criminals. All
It's
of them.
down below you.
Oh my God, a country needs borders, for God's sake. And why would you bring people into the country that hate your country? What the suicidal empathy motherfuck is happening? Why are we Why are we catering to these people? It's like you'll have people in Pakistan, all right, and they'll be like, Daddy,
This
am I
way.
allowed to criticize the government? No, you're not allowed to criticize the government. They can put you to death.
I'll criticize whoever the hell I
Goes
want.
to America. Daddy, can we criticize the government here? Yes, we could criticize the government. Oh, good. That's America. Let them all die. What the fuck is happening? Nice.
And lastly, a Salvadorian national whose criminal history includes charges of aggravated rape of a child by force. I don't think anybody in this room wants these types of heinous criminals
Nope.
in your communities.
Nope.
And it's
Nope.
this administration that they are being
Oh, look at all these Biden voters that they're kicking out of the country. That's crazy.
removed from our country. When Democrat-run jurisdictions release violent illegal alien criminals back into communities after making arrests instead of turning them over to federal immigration enforcement like they should, those Democrats are putting law-abiding Americans at risk. And these insane policies force law enforcement officials to make much more difficult arrests that put their lives, our law enforcement lives, in jeopardy.
Okay. Yes, story time. I'm not going to give names out of respect for the family. There was a man that was a preacher. He went into law enforcement. He answered a domestic violence call. Part of the job, right? He didn't get to go home. Okay? When you're in a situation where you have to answer the call, and it's not at a neutral location where, you can kind of just grab the person from like a courtroom or whatever, you end up in situations where it could cost you your life. In the case of my friend, it cost him his. And I'm just saying this as a way for you to understand. If you're in law enforcement and you don't want to get 7 rounds in your back, okay? or in the back of your skull, it is best to do immigration enforcement when they just get out of court. It is the safest way to do it for them. It's the safest way to do it for the officers involved. Okay? And it is the truth. Because they're already more or less disarmed. Okay? They are not a physical threat and can be dealt with as such. When you put them in a situation where you basically have to have a small friggin' SWAT task force deal with them, you are endangering them, the community, and everyone around them. So no, sanctuary cities are not okay. They should have never been a thing.
True. I don't think that it's so disgusting that people don't seem to care about the lives of like law enforcement agents or ICE agents or even soldiers. Like the fact it's like, oh, they're putting their life on the line. That's their job. Well, why would you endanger these people? Like exterminatus. Get them the hell out of here.
President Trump is incredibly grateful for our heroic officers on the front lines getting these violent, illegal alien invaders out of our communities. Law and order is back in America under President Trump. And on that note...
And for some reason, suspiciously, the violent crime on the left side of the aisle has gotten so unreal. Like, dude, the fact that they're the church of...
But I'm going to point something out, too, and he's probably about to do an example as well. The Summer of Love riots where they burned down neighborhoods of people who, by the way, maybe didn't even vote for Trump.
Get picked up.
We're down in the pit, babe. I can't pick you up. I can't fly that high. You're going to have to self-res.
I didn't know you guys went down again.
Yeah, he's pulling us forward anyway. So, we spent 2019 and 2020 with the left rioting and burning shit down. And then when 2021 rolls around, January 6th happens, and shocker, there's a little bit of glass broken, and the one person who died was an Air Force personnel who was at the protest as a protester. And no one on the federal agent end of things died at all. The one person they claimed died 3 days later of a heart attack that had nothing to do with the riot itself. That's exactly what the autopsy said. So, look it up. If you don't believe me, just go right on ahead. Look up Michael Byrd. Okay. Actually, no, it wasn't Michael Byrd. Michael Byrd's the one who killed Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt was just there protesting, was actually trying to stop someone from committing property damage. Instead, she's the one who takes a fucking bullet. And I still think, and this is just a personal conspiracy theory, that the person who was trying to commit that property damage may or may not have been a federal agent posing as a protester to try to rile things up. That's, again, just a personal theory. That one, there is no fact to back up. So, moving on.
Luigi Mangione out there. People praising actual...
I gotta stop him. Luigi Mangione was a fucking idiot. He was a fucking idiot who deserves to be in prison for what he did. Okay? Assuming he actually did what they say he did. Okay? I have some suspicions that, they put the name to the face, and that's kind of what I'm operating off of, right? You don't kill people in this country to get what you want. That is not how this society works. And if it does, if you morons on the left think that you want that to happen, you don't. You'll lose, and you'll bitch about it. The few of you that are left will whine and complain that it was not fair because we weren't armed as well as they were. Yeah, well, you spent the last 30 years trying to disarm people, you fucking morons. What did you expect to happen? Seriously. Were you stuck on stupid, like, from birth?
Violent vigilante.
Oh, we were playing with a Darth Vader character.
Firebomb Tesla dealerships.
His ship was a TIE fighter.
Crime is plummeting.
Cool.
In fact, Politico summed it up like this. Murder rates are tumbling across the U.S. in 2025. Homicide stats are down at least 20% over
Damn.
last year. We could be on course for the lowest number on record.
Cheers!
With President Trump in charge, the days of criminals being put over victims are over. On the topic of immigration, the Washington Post just ran one of the most ridiculous...
Dude, I know. I was about to show you the Washington Post title.
Oh no. What did those fucking morons do now?
My God, it's the great... Dude, this is why you don't hate the media enough. Alright, get ready for this.
Headlines ever, even by their standards. My very first briefing several months ago, I said I would hold anyone accountable in this room. The Washington Post actually had this.
This is the exact...
The mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S. map. Oh my God. How? I'm going to drop the R word. This one's going to get me in trouble. How can a news... I know it's the mainstream news. But there's no way... Like, even my mentally handicapped cousin is going to run in here screaming that is retarded. Any second now. She's going to come in here with her librarian dress and, you know, her insane math skills and say, what in the retard hell of retardation is this retarded bullshit? Of course they're dropping! And it's not a fucking mystery. It's because we're enforcing our fucking border laws. You fucking dumbasses! Oh my God! I thought they were stupid. I knew they were stupid. The rock I sit on in the backyard is smarter than this.
Article I was going to show you. The mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S.-Mexico border. The reasons behind the decrease of fentanyl seizures in the U.S. and along the Mexican borders are complex.
I can't.
It's not complex.
I can't.
Mysterious. They closed the border. They're arresting the criminals. And they're throwing the cartels out of the country. Like, what? This is the least mysterious shit of all time. Like, what is happening?
Oh, Lord. In fact, on the U.S.-Mexico border, how is this mysterious? For unknown reasons about why there is a decrease.
Yeah, 99% of the illegal entries into the country are stopped. It's amazing. It's a big wall. It's a great wall. Everyone talks about this wall. We're stopping the people from entering the country. And coincidentally,
hey, baby love,
fentanyl is coming in.
could you please get my Mountain Dew?
This administration's strong
Just the Dew, no whiskey.
are the reason there has been
Bro, think of George Floyd, alright?
Yeah.
You might have survived.
Decrease in fentanyl trafficking. His strengthened relationships with Mexican President Sheinbaum and all of the measures he has been taking to deter illegal human and drug trafficking at our United States southern border is the reason for plummeting fentanyl seizures at the U.S. border.
No
There's
shit.
nothing mysterious about that, and we'd like to see the Washington Post update their headlines accordingly.
I mean, yeah, I would love that too. But that is crazy. That is crazy.
Hang on. Before we get any further, this is Nux and Norris. Just now, radical leftists are 100% finding out. Yeah.
This is clearly trying to intentionally manipulate the minds
Oh man,
of
forget
Americans.
it.
I mean, it worked.
I'd rather
It
the
worked.
world think that
Like,
I'm going bald than sweat anymore
X
today.
Or Twitter or whatever.
I
people
just
would
can't.
fall for this shit all the time. These hoaxes will actually make it. And they keep trying to peddle more of them.
Thank you.
And I think
You're
the American
welcome.
people understand why
I'm
this
gonna just leave that over here.
job. In
No
our
shit.
office
I don't
responded
wanna
to
walk
this
back
inquiry.
out in the kitchen
We
right
provided
now.
a whole host of the
just
reasons that
want to
fentanyl
sit.
seizures at the southern border have dropped, and the Washington Post refused to run them. And that's despicable. In other news, positive economic reports continue to flood in. Inflation dropped to 2.
I had to stop her for just a second. There's a reason they're doing this, and it's pure propaganda. If you look at the donor cycles for the elections, you will know that about 75% of the news media in the United States either donates to or receives money from Democrat causes all the time. And more times than not, it's usually the further left than the regular party donations. So, just as a heads up. And if you don't believe me, you can actually look it up for yourself. Go ask Grok or any other AI who donates to who. They will be more than happy to show you. It is public information.
0.1% in April. Personal income increased 0.8% in April. So inflation is down and wages are up. That's almost triple the expectation and against the doubts of nearly everyone in this room.
Yeah, every single person in the press was running how the market was going to die and Americans were going to starve and all that shit was happening.
Where are you taking
And we
this,
also
baby?
saw the largest monthly decline in the trade deficit on record as a result of President Trump's very powerful tariffs. Lastly, the price of eggs has dropped more than 61%.
Okay.
Yay! Look at that.
That is a big win for Trump, but it's really Biden's fault that the price of eggs were up in the first place. And the reason for that was there was a scare about the bird flu. Yeah, if you properly cook your eggs, nothing of that survives, by the way. Look that up. That's on Google. It was a panic and hysteria, and when he heard that it could hurt his political opponent in the long term, or in some way, he just A-okayed them killing millions of fucking chickens. So, just a little fun little fact there. The reason that the egg prices are up, or have dropped 61% since Trump took office, has nothing to do with Donald Trump being in office. It has everything to do with the fact that the chicken population for our manufacturing of eggs has returned to somewhat of a normal state. That is not something Trump can take credit for. Although it is kind of funny that they're doing it anyway, just to stick a middle finger to the left. I mean, I'm all about that, but like, it's not really what you think it is, and it's important to point that out.
Wow!
I remember my very first briefing. I was asked about the cost of eggs.
Dude, the media is like actual fucking retards.
The reporter tried to insinuate it was this administration's fault, even though he had only been here for a few days or weeks. It was a result of the previous administration's terrible policies, and in record time, this president has fixed that problem that he inherited from Joe Biden, and now egg prices have dropped 61%.
And the media does not care. I love that she doesn't forget, and she actually does hold the media accountable.
Oh yeah, no, this woman is...
Dude, I have been saying you don't hate the media enough for a long time. It's become like...
If Nux and me and other people who host this kind of content are the ones turning the spit, she's the fucking fire under it, burning them.
Elon motherfucking Musk, dog. I'm talking about my guy. You don't hate the media enough, brothers. I am telling you. Oh,
you really don't.
Yeah, anyway.
Since this president took office, there's a lot of good news, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions, so let's get to them. We have Just the News in our new media seat today. Amanda Head, thank you for being with us. Why don't you kick us off?
Sure, thank you so much. There is a disturbing trend of anti-Semitism turning into terrorism. Of course, the Colorado
Yep, it's a trend.
mentioned the 2 Israeli embassy staffers.
And guess who's been hosting the trend? Twitch and Hassan Piker.
People don't even know that happened.
Congratulations. You just inherited an anti-Semitism label from me. And now,
This domestic terrorism.
I'm gonna roast Danny Boy over at Twitch. You allow these fucking terrorist imbeciles, terror-supporting imbeciles onto your platform to be as anti-Semitic as they want. And yet when fucking Tectone has the balls to call someone fat, who is, by the way, slightly on the chubby side, because she's being a friggin' see you next Tuesday, okay? You have the gall to ban him. But you won't ban the moron who's out there basically saying kill the Jews on the fucking daily basis by saying let's support these terrorist organizations that want to kill the Jews on a daily basis. You're a fucking retard, and you know what? The losses that you're going to cause Twitch, I hope you answer to a board of some kind, and I hope they smack you upside the head with it. I really do, because you need it. Okay, you're too much of a gooner to understand that you are a detriment to Twitch. Because you are. You are. I could run that friggin' thing better. Heck, Asmongold could do it better. Anyone could do it better. My dog, my literal fuzzy buddy, could run Twitch better than you. A 100%. I have pooped out better mentalities in a toilet bowl in the morning after Taco Bell night than you have run that platform. Okay? And that's just like fact. You ban unevenly. Your whole platform is a far leftist shit rag at this point. And no one wants anything to do with it. Why do you think I went to Kick? Why do you think I go to YouTube? Why do you think I go to Facebook? Why do you think I go to anywhere else but you? I probably, if I really wanted to, I'll be honest, I probably could be just as big as Asmongold or Tectone if I really put the fucking energy into it. And I'd probably have to do about twice to 3 times the fucking work just to get that big. I'll be blunt, I'm a boring asshole. I'm an opinionated jackass who plays video games. Okay? And I speak my mind. And occasionally, my wife kicks an opinion in too. But the fact that you have totally destroyed Twitch is just, it's disgusting. Jack Dorsey would have been an improvement over you, and Jack Dorsey is the one who almost destroyed Twitter.
And as such, are there official alerts to law enforcement, BOLOs, task forces, things like that?
The president has made it very clear, as he said in his statement yesterday, that yes, these anti-Semitic acts of violence do qualify as terrorism, and he does not want terrorism or violence of any form taking place in the United States of America. And as for specifically anti-Semitic terrorism and anti-Semitic acts of violence and those that are targeting Jewish Americans, this administration has done more to combat that violence than any administration in history. And one incident is one too many. And I think, frankly, that's something the previous administration was not willing to say.
She's right. Harvard didn't actually say anything about that shit. Columbia didn't say anything about that shit. You'd have students getting beaten up on those campuses. And, no one said anything because, well, I guess you didn't have Egyptians firebombing people in the middle of Boulder, Colorado. But, yeah, no, it's getting hairy out there. And I think that the leftist terrorist shit, I don't even think it's just like anti-Semitic shit. I think it's specifically this entire concept of the modern left essentially being radicalized to the point where you need to inflict violence
by people like Hassan Piker.
I think it's disgusting and it needs to get investigated.
This president will stand up for Americans of all religions, of all faiths, of all creeds, and we will continue to look at policy measures and actions that we can take in addition to the actions that have already been taken to curb this anti-Semitic violence. And to Jewish Americans at home, across the country, this president has your back.
Okay.
And then on another...
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm going to stop her right there. The problem in this country is actually with what she said. There should not be a qualifier before the word American. I think, as much as I disagree with him on a lot of things, there's something that actually Morgan Freeman did say that I highly fucking agree with. I'm going to stop calling you Black American, and you're going to stop calling me White American. We're just American. I really do believe that. I think that if you're an American, born and raised, or if you're naturalized and you've done everything the way that you should be treated as an American and with the equated respect of being an American. Even if I think your opinion is dog shit. Moving on.
I feel heard. I feel approved. Thank you so
Can we
much
find
for
out?
that.
Oh, you're still doing inventory management.
Back in February,
Just a combat area. Patrol zone, something.
There are a couple of them. I have a list. We'll start with him.
My first line
created
in
a commission to re-examine the
Okay.
childhood vaccine schedule. But there are still states
So I could
outstanding like
potentially
California,
unlock my
Connecticut, Maine that are not
prismatic, so I
allowing
have
any
my,
religious exemptions for kids, not only to go to
Volt
school, but to participate
and
in
the other
sports and
two
extracurricular.
Strand and Void as well.
I'm going to quote the Supreme Court on a case. Religious exemptions when it comes to medical issues. The First Amendment, religious exemptions are above all. You cannot force someone to violate their religious tenets. You are not allowed, as a government, to force them to break those. Unless they are harming someone outside of their family unit. That is specific to the Supreme Court. Meaning that if you're Amish, you don't do birthing the normal way. If you are hardcore... What sect of Christianity was that? It wasn't Amish. There are certain if you are hardcore Orthodox Christians, some of them are that way too. You cannot force them to do things against their will and against their religion. It's actually a violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And there is no emergency provision to circumvent the First or Second Amendment. Period. It does not exist. You cannot martial law the First Amendment out of existence. And the Second Amendment, good luck. You'd be suicidal for trying it.
Activities. Would the president want to see religious exemptions allowed across all 50 states? And how do you enforce that, especially with states like California that are already defying the president on the men and women's sports issue?
Generally speaking, I know the president supports religious exemptions for families when it comes to vaccinations. As per the instances in those specific states, I'll have the administration and the White House.
Hey, it's the kind of camping I want to do.
What executive action, if any, we can take?
A couple chairs, a radio, a fire,
We'll see.
a lantern,
We're in hurricane season, and
some water.
there is great concern every year about the potential for that. Can you speak how the president is
Look, dude, stop.
planning to
Stop.
have the level of
Oh my God.
support should it be needed?
Bro, could Mr. President please ask the Jews
Oh,
to turn off the weather machines? And what is Mr.
There is an
President?
important thing that I have to put out there, and this is more for Bungie than anything else. None of my statements or opinions here are reflective of Bungie at all. Do not assume that my opinions align with anything Destiny 2 or otherwise. These are literally just my takes and opinions. I'm just playing Destiny 2 because I didn't want to just play Nux and Nor's video. I wanted to have something here as like a placeholder. It didn't have to be Destiny 2. Bungie, if you do have an issue with my opinions and you don't want this game played in the background from here on, that is fine. I won't take this video down because I'm not going to silence myself because your butt hurt.
How exactly do I drop this thing in my hand?
Change weapons.
Oh, I actually tried to change my weapon. It didn't exactly work.
Oh, well, it disappeared anyway.
Yeah.
But I will make sure to note that you do not want this game played in any sort of video that I do when it comes to, like, my opinions or whatever. Destiny Tuesday is still going to be a thing, though. Like, you can demonetize or have those demonetized if you want, but,
I'm also trying to do my bow kills.
you know, you can't stop the signal. Anyway, but yes, if you do not approve of the opinion, I don't have a problem not associating this game with my opinions. Like I said, it's just a placeholder. It doesn't mean anything. Bungie does not endorse or support anything that I've said here. Okay? It's that I think that's the statement that I probably should have said at the beginning of the video, but I friggin' forgot, and I feel like a lot of streamers don't respect that. They should be saying that as well. Because I don't represent Bungie, I don't represent Activision, I don't represent Destiny 2, I don't represent Microsoft. I'm literally just representing my own opinion. The game that I'm playing is just the game that I'm playing. Okay? Now, moving on.
Doing about combating God in regards to hurricanes?
To be as it has been with a reduction in the workforce, and is he still comfortable with Administrator Richardson, who had talked, whether joking or not, about not being aware of a hurricane season for this country? What is the president's level of briefings on what may be required? If you could give us kind of an overall update on that.
Sure. Well, of course, we know that we are into hurricane season now, and I know.
You're gonna need to learn how to use this thing.
Seriously, contrary to some of the reporting we have seen based on jokes that were made and leaks.
Yeah, we're gonna take this seriously.
Christino
I like
and the
that.
FEMA leadership are all over this. They are committed to ensuring that federal resources and tax dollars are
It's a temporary use weapon, so don't get too
President.
used to it, but
I know, I like it.
you do need to remember how it works.
Piker, I will turn off the weather. Deal? Deal.
Considering them. However, this president has made it clear we're not going to enable states to make bad decisions with federal tax dollars and then have the federal government later bail states out.
No more of this bullshit California shit. Remember when California ran out of water? Oh, we ran out of water. We kept putting out the fires. Unfortunately, we didn't want to ruin the smelt fish. Right? Unfortunately, we had to. We have more genders than fire hydrants in this state.
That was a good one, Nux. That We have more genders than fire hydrants in this state. Well, maybe if your governance wasn't friggin' mentally handicapped in some significant fashion, you wouldn't have.
There's
Oh.
some more over here.
Okay.
Baby.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Maybe if your governance in California wasn't handicapped, you know, in the worst way mentally speaking, maybe you would have more fire hydrants than genders.
Will deeply and thoughtfully consider.
Yep, makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
Did you go
And I
upwards?
think some of the
I
media
went
reporting
down.
is frankly
Okay.
sloppy and irresponsible.
I didn't know
There
where
are
to go.
serious
No, I
people
didn't.
who are taking
Thank
this
you.
issue seriously, starting with the president himself, who, as you know, on his first domestic trip back in office.
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually know this, but Mr. President Donald Trump, the 47th and 45th President of the United States, no one knows who was 46, but Trump was 45 and 47. That dude was active AF in regards to helping people out in dire natural disasters. Him and Elon Musk and Starlink and all that shit. But you know what?
All right.
No one cared.
have
Because
something down
Nazis
here
and
that's
fascism
somewhere.
and Elon Musk did
Yeah,
Hitler
about that.
salute. Remember that?
Visited
I have to get
both North
Can you
Carolina
whack this knight a
and
few times?
California, both of which
Right
were,
here?
of course, hit by natural disasters.
Right
when
here,
he
baby.
wasn't even president, but he took ownership of that
What knight?
and visited
The one
those
chasing
places
me.
and those people immediately. Brian.
See, is it appropriate though now that we're this is
Don't-
serious business as you talk about?
What do you mean? What's he supposed to do? Why are you
All right.
asking these questions?
It's serious business.
Because she's a member of the press corps and they have to ask those stupid
I'm so
questions.
glad she actually fucking slapped her across the face with words. Oh, lady, incredibly nice, absolutely annihilated. Oh my
wonderful.
god. Like, why are you asking these questions? What are you trying to do? You try to manipulate the American people to thinking it's Trump's fault that hurricanes happen? Like, holy, stop fear-mongering for just a second.
Brian.
Thank you, Caroline. Reuters was reporting that there is a letter that is meant to be sent to other countries, which would give these countries a deadline of Wednesday to produce their best offer on the trade matter. Why does the administration feel the need to send this letter? And I have one more follow-up on trade.
Sure, I can confirm the merits and the content of the letter. USTR sent this letter to all of our trading partners
Love that.
just to
Alright.
give them a friendly reminder that the deadline is coming.
Yeah, we gotta
up.
find a key. I don't know where it went.
Wait, I'm just saying, I know shit's gonna suck for you if you don't make a deal. Reminding you, TikTok, motherfucker. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Ambassador Greer,
I
Secretary
approve.
Best, and Secretary Lutnick are in talks with many of our key trading partners around the globe, as you know, Brian. I know the Wall Street Journal has covered this quite heavily, and they continue to be engaged. in discussions.
Did we
This
make a
letter is
mistake?
simply to remind these
there's a
countries
crystal
that the
key.
deadline is approaching.
Where?
And the president expects
I
good
found
deals,
the
and we
first
are
one
on track for that.
randomly somewhere.
I will emphasize.
Trade side, though, when you deal with the United Kingdom, there was this idea of a reprieve on the auto tariffs. Is the president looking to do another similar deal on the sector by sector reduction in
That's what I
tariffs,
did the last
or is this
time.
more going to be deals
Okay.
related?
It's a negotiation.
Oh, you did?
Obviously, she's not going to tell you
Yeah,
here. It's a
it's up.
negotiation between
cool.
two countries.
Reciprocal tariffs that were announced.
Reciprocal tariffs.
Well,
I love that word.
From the podium, and the president has discussed as well. Each country has unique advantages, unique challenges.
Every country has something else
Recharge.
to offer, and also every country, you have to realize, every country has different tariffs that they have on the United States.
Yeah,
So
reciprocal
just
tariffs
means
are
that
reciprocal.
The deal that Trump gives them is based
Surprise,
on what
surprise.
a return. It's my
right.
second favorite R word, reciprocal. Right after my actual favorite R word, retarded.
Do it based on their markets, what they export to us and what we export to them. And so that's why
Oh, man, that's good.
Advised his trade team to engage in tailor-made deal making, and we saw that with the United Kingdom, and we will see that with other countries as well.
Does the president support the Senate moving forward with a bill imposing heavy sanctions on Russia?
Look, the president
All right.
has spoken about his position on sanctions on Russia. He has smartly kept this as a tool in his toolbox if necessary, but I think the Senate...
Dude, Ukraine absolutely butt-fucked Russia yesterday. Did you see that shit? Oh my god. Dude, they absolutely annihilated them. It was crazy. Hold on, I have to show this to you. It is
okay.
actually insane. Ukraine. They literally fired drones. Dude, I'm not even shitting you. This is like a real thing that happened. They managed to smuggle drones into Russia.
I saw that.
And literally had them fly in the shape of a penis. This is an actual map of drones. I'm not joking. This is an actual map of the drones. All right, like that has got that. Come on, dude, that's a penis. All right, stop. So they put these drones in a truck that they got Russian truck drivers to deliver, and then they activated the drones from within Russia, and then they flew in the shape of a penis. Like, let's be real. This is crazy. Ukraine has won all the goodwill in the world. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Operation Cockhole. Get them, boys. Get them, boys. That was crazy.
And everyone on Capitol Hill respects the president as the commander-in-chief for a reason. And as you
Yes, that's why I said Ukraine fucked Russia. Yes, exactly. They deeply penetrated Russian territory with that one.
know, Russia and Ukraine engaged in direct talks yesterday. That was at the encouragement of this president when he spoke to both leaders of both countries via phone just a couple of weeks ago. And so I would just like to remind everybody how far we have come in just 4 months. I mean, it was inconceivable last year at this time for Russia and Ukraine to be engaged in direct talks.
There's a certain order you have to do these in.
No, I've got it.
Oh, you got the door open.
These countries sat down yesterday. So he's willing to use sanctions if he needs them in the Senate and in the Capitol Hill.
Good. Kill this fool with that thing.
Leading the United States
Yep, pick those up.
Look, what I know for a fact is Trump saw the cock-shaped
Alright.
drone strike.
Over here.
Right? He saw that shit, and he wanted to tweet, but he knew that he can't tweet, or Vladimir will never make a deal. And he's sitting there in his office, JD, I want to tweet. I know I shouldn't, but JD, it's the shape of a penis. I'm seeing it right now. It's almost as big as mine. JD, stop me from tweeting immediately.
Iran, the president said that the U.S. would not allow for any uranium enrichment, but the proposal offered to the Iranians reportedly allows for low levels of enrichment. Can you?
Oh my God! Why are people asking these questions? They're letting Iran use nuclear resources for civilian power, but they're not allowing to enrich it to make weapons out of it.
Explain that discrepancy.
I found one right here.
Alleged details of the report. We're not going to negotiate
And that's two.
through the media out of respect for these ongoing discussions and negotiations.
And that means either this one or that one or three.
The president made his position very clear on Truth Social last night. In fact, it couldn't be any more clear. And I would reiterate that.
Iran is not getting a nuclear weapon under Trump. Nope, that's not happening. I want a deal, but if we
It's
don't
because it's the wrong one. You need the light modes.
JD, hit the red button. I'm busy. I'm looking at Ukraine's cock missiles.
Where's that other one?
On the wall.
A very detailed and acceptable proposal to the Iranian regime that the president hopes they will accept.
I will see.
And if not, they will face grave consequences, as the president himself has reiterated.
Based, by the way, a lot of people don't realize that Iran is a threat. It is a threat to America. They are legitimate a threat to America. They are the biggest sponsors of terror on the planet. Absolutely. They cannot get a nuke.
Yeah, which is why we silence them for good, actually. But no one wants to hear that.
A couple of things, if I may. Firstly, can you confirm whether or not President Trump is going to be going to the NATO summit in The Hague later?
I can confirm he will be going to the NATO summit, yes.
He travels around for an old guy, huh?
Great, thanks. And another question on the Netherlands. In fact, just wondering if you have any reaction to the collapse of the Dutch government after the anti-EU and anti-Islam leader Geert Wilders, who's been described as the Dutch Trump, pulled out of the government there.
Bro, Trump is literally transcended. All right, you have people running in other countries. I am the Dutch Trump. I wear a wig and I'm based.
I don't want to comment on that, but certainly we should and we will get you one, okay? You're welcome. Right.
Dutch Trump.
I want to
All 7 Trumps. All the Trumps. Every country needs a Trump.
ask. A couple days ago, the president announced that he was withdrawing the nomination of Jared Isaacman to lead NASA, citing a thorough review of prior associations. I wondered why did this review happen just now, after the nominee was so far into the process? And can you explain the president's thinking on who he might choose?
Look, the president reserves the right to nominate individuals to key administration posts. He also reserves the right to remove those individuals if he chooses, just like he reserves the right to fire anybody in the executive branch that he wants.
So
a new replacement for NASA will be announced very soon, as the president himself said.
Was there something in particular that came up that caused the president concern with this nomination?
The president wants to ensure that all of his nominees are aligned fully with the America First mission of this administration.
I died.
And he will be announcing a replacement very soon. Andrew, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
It's been just about a month since President and Prime Minister Starmer announced...
I can't see you all the way back there.
And I do too.
It's been just about a month since Prime Minister Starmer and President Trump announced that the U.S. and UK had reached a trade deal, a framework for the deal. Now there are at least some conservative MPs in London who are complaining that Parliament has not yet seen the text of any deal.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little embarrassed that Tectone has a press pass and I don't.
So I'd like to ask...
Wait, Tectone has a press pass?
Is there...
Just don't worry about it. It's just something cool.
No, or they would have released it already, dog. Literally. Why do they ask these questions? Yes, they made a deal, and it's not official and public what the deal is. So no, they don't have it, or it will be public.
If not, when can we expect it?
All right, there we go. There
Most
we go.
definitely text with this deal. There is language that this side has seen. You'll have to ask the UK Parliament why they haven't seen it from their own government. I obviously can't answer that question.
Yeah, because they don't have freedom in the United Kingdom.
Caroline, one more on Ukraine, please.
Sure, go ahead.
On Ukraine, it's been a couple of days since Ukraine made that audacious drone strike on Russian airfields. The president hasn't said a word about it.
Yeah. We all know exactly why. The president didn't say anything about it. JD, look at that. Take my phone, JD. I can't stop.
He's probably laughing his ass off about the fact that the formation looked like a penis.
Wait, what?
So, Ukraine sent drones into Russia, but they didn't fly them in. They had them smuggled in on Russian supply trucks, on boxes that they hid them in. And when the trucks got far enough into Russia and close enough to their bombers, they deployed the drones, and the deployment pattern made them look like a penis on the overlay map, on the strike map. It was great!
Are you still streaming?
Yes!
Well, yes, when he's working as a mediator. He's working as a mediator between Russia and Ukraine.
To put it nicely, Russia got fucked.
Going crazy, blasting Russia. Holy shit, Vladimir. They fucked you up. They killed you, Vlad. Holy Vladimir. Your butthole must be sore after you got that walloping.
On the war, or it's not bad. On the war.
Like, I'm not like this huge Ukraine supporter here, but you know, that was funny.
On this audacious drone.
Never would have happened if I hadn't.
Right? Is he surprised? He said that Zelensky didn't have the cards when they met in the Oval.
They still don't have the cards. They still do not have the cards. I'm like, realistically, it would take many miraculous level of actual operations like this to make headway.
Yeah, it would.
That has them completely outgunned.
But it's still funny as shit.
Does Zelensky possibly have some cards that the president
They unloaded inside Russia. They painted the insides, all sorts of colors, mostly white. They painted the insides of Russia with that one. They
Other side.
it, and now there's an entire other organism there.
Look, the president's thinking on the Russia-Ukraine war as it stands, I spoke to him about it just this morning, is he remains positive at the progress that we've seen. Again, he urged both leaders to sit down and talk directly with one another, and they did that. Russia handed over a memorandum of peace, or a peace plan, or a suggestion of one, I understand, to the Ukrainian side. They also agreed upon the exchange of prisoners or hostages from each other's countries. So he remains positive about the progress that we're seeing, but he also is a realist, and he realizes these are two countries that are at war.
These are two countries that are at war. He's not going to sit there and say, tisk, 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 Ukraine, how dare you fight back.
And have been for a long time because of his predecessor's weakness and incompetence. So he's working hard to solve this conflict, and that's where his mind is right now on it. Jonathan.
Good response. Very, very good response, honestly.
Thank you. Same topic, just to put a finer point on it. Does President Trump approve of Ukraine's decision to strike nuclear-capable bombers in Russia?
I would like to let the president speak on that himself.
And just to follow up, as the
I
president...
would just add to that, the president does not want to see this war prolonged. He wants the fighting to stop, he wants people to stop dying, and he wants this to be...
You just gotta kill a knight with that thing.
The reason he is so deeply involved and has spent so much time and effort on this war is because he hates to see people dying. Again, these are not Americans that are being killed. These are Russians and these are Ukrainians. This is a war very far away. But this president
human beings
okay.
dropping.
And that's what he wants to see.
What is President Trump doing to ensure that a similar internal drone attack doesn't
They
happen?
sodomized the motherland.
One of them fell down below.
Yeah, I know.
The Golden Dome. The Golden Dome wouldn't even help you, bro.
Pretty low cost, very stealthily. It obviously raises questions about our.
Yeah, well, hopefully there wouldn't be a war between the United States and Ukraine anytime soon. Realistically, I think the biggest threat to America is like the illegal immigrants and people that actually came into America.
Security, particularly for U.S. aircraft.
That, and if Iran would end up getting nukes, obviously that would be the biggest threat.
Yeah.
It absolutely does, and that's why the president nominated Secretary Hegseth and has approved some of the changes that have been made at the Pentagon to ensure that we have the most lethal fighting force in the world, and that the United States military is the best, the biggest.
And
that's
it is.
why he wants the one.
The United States.
Could you shoot that thing with the?
I'm trying to do.
Some people are
Okay.
pussies, but legitimately, the United States is the strongest country in the history of the world. And a lot of people don't know that.
Kinda died.
Bill to be passed
Because
because
I
it
couldn't
increases our
get
defense
him
spending.
distracted.
That's why he also launched the announcement of the Golden Dome to prevent from
I'll take
missile
it.
strikes and attacks in the future. And the president has a full understanding, I can tell you, because I've spoken to him about it, about the future of warfare and how drones are a big part of that.
Yeah,
And
drones are going to completely take over warfare. Think about how crazy it is, and this is going to be real. AI-powered drones that completely run through AI. That shit's going to take over all of warfare. And it's crazy to think about it, because why have human tacticians when you can have AI tacticians? You're going to have warfare that are going to have two armies of drones, all controlled by AI, and the civilian population is just going to wait for the results. That shit's crazy, but it's not even that far away. That is 10 years away.
I will not get ahead of our policy team, but I think you can expect to see some executive action on that front.
Okay,
in the
baby.
near future. Caitlin.
I don't know how I feel about the drones thing. I don't like the idea that a drone could dictate my fate for me without me having any sort of input. Doesn't feel very nice.
Take out your cross!
Big beautiful bill. You said recently that it is quote blatantly
Got it
wrong,
right here.
it adds to the deficit.
Right here.
An estimate from the Congressional Budget Office and other scorekeepers you believe are wrong. But Republicans like Ron Johnson and Rand Paul disagree. They are saying that it will add to the deficit. That is their concern. Is the White House's position that those two Republican senators are, quote, blatantly wrong? It is. Those senators, it's not news that they disagree with this president on policy, and the president has vocally called them out for it and for...
What even question is that? Like, are you
It's an
calling the
attempt
senators
to
wrong?
create infighting on the Republican Party.
They're not having their facts together. I would add the Congressional Budget Office has been historically wrong. In fact, they predicted the Trump tax cuts from the president's first term in 2017. Their prediction was wrong by $500 billion. Those tax cuts had nearly $500 billion more of revenue than the Congressional Budget Office scored. And I would also point out, I don't think many people know this, there hasn't been a single staffer in the entire Congressional Budget Office that has contributed to a Republican since the year 2000. But guess what? There have been many specific professionals that contributed to Democrat candidates and politicians every single cycle since. So, unfortunately, this is an institution in our country that has become partisan and political, and we are very confident in our own economic analyses of this bill. There is $1.6 trillion in savings, and our Office of Management and Budget Director, Russ Vought, is a fiscal hawk. He is well known in the city for being a well-respected fiscal hawk. He has tools at his disposal to produce even more.
So many tools!
And as you know, the White House will be sending our rescissions package to Capitol Hill today. And on immigration, the other day that the Homeland Security Secretary said, and I'm quoting her now, that an illegal alien threatened to assassinate President Trump and highlighted his arrest. A man has now admitted to framing him, saying that he wrote the letter that the DHS Secretary Christina posted online. Last I checked before I came to the room, that post was still up from DHS. Does the White House expect them to issue a clarification or a correction on that? We can ask the Department of Homeland Security and get back to you. All right. Jeff.
Carolyn. Good answer. Moving on, away from the vampire, moving on. Again, you have to realize it's still an illegal immigrant. It is for someone that is in the country illegally.
Yeah, no. The framing or not is irrelevant at that point.
China.
Hurting car companies and technology companies now that require that for their products, and is that pressure working?
Well, I can assure you that the administration is actively monitoring China's compliance with the Geneva Trade Agreement. I know the United States, on our end, we have complied with the terms that we set, and our administration officials continue to be engaged in correspondence with their Chinese counterparts. And as you all know, and I know there's a lot of interest in it, there will be a leader-to-leader talk very soon. And when that happens, as always, I will let you know.
We'll see what happens.
Asia, does the White House have a reaction?
China's pretty scary right now, not gonna lie. There's a lot of scary China shit going on. And I'm very happy that they're kicking Chinese students that are literally in America purely to suck blood from the country. I genuinely am so happy that they're revoking the visas of people that are here to, essentially, here to fuck up America. That's a dub. That's a huge dub. I'm happy we're taking this seriously. I would think about the racism. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Reaction to the results of the election.
Yeah, no, it's not even racism at this point.
Yeah. South Korea got a communist fucking government. Oh!
In fact, let me find it here for you.
Uh-oh.
It should be somewhere in here. We do not, but I will get you one.
All right.
Go ahead. Thanks, Kelly. Two questions on trade. Is this letter that was sent to trading partners a sign that the president isn't satisfied with the pace of these negotiations? Is he trying to light a fire under these talks now?
Okay, I was exaggerating with communists, but yeah, you get the idea.
Well, look, the president has been very direct to our trading partners in his conversations with them and with foreign leaders directly that they need to cut deals with the United States of America.
Yeah, we have the cards. The United States has the cards. You don't have the cards.
The tariff agenda.
You need us. We don't need you.
In it. And as you've all seen, he's unafraid to use tariffs to protect our industries and protect our workers. But he wants to see these tailor-made deals be signed. And I will tell you, of course, I never want to be the one negotiating with the press about these internal discussions and deliberations.
Obviously.
But, our team, who is deeply involved in this, sees these deals moving in the right direction. In fact, Ambassador Greer is in Paris right now, meeting with many of our trading partners.
We should still expect this flurry of deals in the next 36 days, and the plan is still to go back into effect.
Nothing changed.
The plan is for the announcement of these deals to be made very, very soon, yes.
Good.
Thank you, Caroline. So Governor Whitmer confirmed that she spoke with President Trump about the possibility of pardoning the plotters against her kidnapping case. She didn't give us an idea of what the president's reaction was to that. Do you have any information about what he said?
You mean the plotters that were entrapped by FBI agents and the whole thing was set up by the agents, the corrupt agents that were handling the arrest at that point in time? Oh, please smack this one around. Please.
Well, I won't reveal the president's private discussion unless he gives me liberty to, but I will reiterate what he said publicly when he was asked by one of the journalists in this room in the Oval Office a couple of weeks ago about the pardons. He said it's something he would look at, nothing more, nothing less.
All right.
Haley, go ahead.
Fair enough.
And then Kelly next to you.
Thank you. When it comes to the leader-to-leader call with Xi Jinping this week, what is the president's expectation of this call? Is he looking for concrete outcomes out of this, or is he looking to kind of warm relations as these trade talks are ongoing?
Well, President Trump and President Xi have shared a respectful relationship throughout the years. And again, I won't get ahead of the president on that call, but as always, after you'll hear directly from the president or from myself or someone else here at the White House. Kelly.
Caroline, thank you. I want to get back to the anti-Semitic behavior that's been going on college campuses as well as recently in Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
The president, as you know, has the White House Faith Office, the Religious Liberty Commission, as well as the Anti-Task Force.
Yeah.
Anti-Christian bias, which includes anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
From a whole of government perspective,
I think it's important.
And the president has already mentioned.
For so long, people have essentially said you can insult Christians, you can insult white people, you can insult Jews, you can insult men. It was like the four horsemen of people you're allowed to literally be racist against in America. And I'm so happy it's over. I'm so happy it's over. And Asians. Asians also. I'm so happy that shit's over.
He hates these kinds of acts that have been going on. Can these entities and these agencies work together with the president to put out a proactive campaign to help people stop the hate?
I think
the only way you could, quote-unquote, stop the hate, actually arrest...
No, I've just been chilling out by the flag.
In my opinion, is directly calling for violence or directly promoting terrorism or providing material support to terrorists. Those guys need to get fucked
I didn't put any water in the fridge.
What are they supposed to do? Is he Donald Trump? I'm here. I'm stopping the hate. Look at me.
I didn't put any fresh water in the fridge.
Look at it go. Look at that little dreidel go.
And the Mountain Dew syrup is kind of a little thick today.
Alright? It's not going to do
Thank you.
Okay? The only way you can actually do it is if there's repercussions to direct incitement of violence or direct material support to terrorism or whatever communist bullshit Hassan Piker is pushing. That type of shit. Or Nick Fuentes saying that they need to have a holy war to kill Jews in a holy war. That is a real quote from Nick Fuentes, far-right pundit, alright? Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, there are people that are saying insane shit out there. Like, radicalizing incitement to violence. That shit's criminal. That is not protected by freedom of speech. We have laws for a reason. Keep the laws that we actually have.
The president himself has been leading on this. Kellyanne has been incredibly clear in his rhetoric that he is not going to tolerate such hate or behavior in the United States.
We're not going to tolerate.
Good. Can we actually see a movement on that, please? I get really fed up with having to hide the fact that I'm a Christian or be afraid of taking my Bible places. Fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Why should you have to hide
false
your
flag,
religion?
according to him. I don't care if it's what he
no
says,
need
false
for you
flag,
to
not false
hide
flag.
your
I mean the
religion.
direct incitement to violence.
That's
I-
ridiculous.
Because if you don't, you get fucking hazed and basically harassed out of fucking anything.
Which is literally illegal. Hey, let me find it.
Isn't that technically
Alright,
a...
that is not helpful. It's not
I know
willing to
it's
show
not
me the
racism,
actual
but
tweet
the
because
other
it's
word
a
that
hate
means
tweet.
something similar.
Stop it! Alright, well,
It is a prejudicial hate crime, yes.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes, but that doesn't fucking stop people, so,
Yes, it's a real
you know,
thing
as long as they
that
don't
says,
physically
okay?
hurt you,
It's a real
there's
thing that
nothing
he
you can
said.
fucking do
I'm
about
not
it.
joking.
Thank you for
It's not
telling
the
me
only
what it
article.
was. I couldn't
Alright,
remember
white
what the top of my
supremacist
head
point
what
is
it
called
was
for holy
actually
war
called.
against Jews. Like, he's actually said this shit many times.
That rhetoric being followed up by action from the Department of Justice, who is seeking to prosecute these cases to the fullest extent of the law. And I
Yeah,
know
where are
the
you?
Attorney General and the FBI Director
Oh, you actually walked
were
past
very
me.
quick to call this.
There's
Uh,
so many calls to assassination on the
ready?
internet, like on TikTok
Yeah.
and on
Whatever
Twitter
we have
and on
to deal with.
Reddit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
on Twitch. Open calls to assassinate people. Like Donald Trump, for example. Open calls to assassinate Trump. This shit should get investigated. This actual incitement to violence, mostly on the left, let's be honest, is unreal and definitely where I think a majority of this shit gets stirred up.
That's what it was. Targeted
And foreign instigators. The billions of dollars that Qatar is sending into America funding shit like, who knows, like all the different universities and stuff. And the foreign agitators. I think those are the avenues that you really need to clamp down on. I don't mean just sitting back and making statements about how you love people in your office. That shit's not going to help.
terrorism. And there was some, I think, criticism from the media and or at least pundits I saw on television saying, are they too quick to jump here? No. They see the facts and they reveal those to the American people and they're transparent. And I think, frankly, that's a breath of fresh air from what we experienced in the previous administration.
Are there programs that they could put in place to campaign against this kind of violence, to actually take the whole approach and say, we want to get ahead of you. If you're thinking it, don't do it. And if you're going to do it, sit down and talk to someone within the faith office, within the Religious Liberty Commission, as well as the task force.
Bro, I actually found the clip.
We're in a holy war, and I will tell you this, because we're willing to die in the holy war, we will make them die in the holy war. We're in a...
Hey, he's talking about Jews. This is a real quote from a real speech that he actually gave, by the way. True story.
Yeah, surely. It's a good idea, and I'll pass it along to them. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. When you look at these last-minute Biden pardons, the big ones.
Oh, God, dude, I can't wait to get to the Biden pardons. But here's another example of it. Shout out to this guy, Hassan Piker, leftist streamer.
$1 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone.
I hate that thing.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott, okay?
Yeah, that's the Senator of the United States, in case you were curious. All right? That's the Senator of the United States. So when I got to stop. Because when you have people say this in front of tens of thousands of people, it is inciting them to actually go ahead and do that shit. All right? And it's dangerous as fuck.
Biden siblings, Fauci, January 6th committee.
That's right.
Most of the big ones have the same very neat.
Oh my God, bro! Actually, there's no way. There is no way this dude actually.
Peter Ducey. Peter friggin' Ducey. Yup. Dude, yeah, no, he's well known for stirring shit up.
There is one that looks different. It looks authentic. In fact, if you look at the last name, it almost looks like the president was having a hard time spelling his last name there.
Yeah, that sounds authentic.
It's this White House of the opinion that the only pardon that would count is one that the president signed himself.
Fuck, man, that is a great dude. That is a crazy question. Holy!
It's very interesting props if you want to bring them to my office later so I can take a closer look. I would like to do that. The president is
Dude, I approve with this shit stirring. Absolutely.
making
Dude, have this shit-eating grin on her face, and she's just like, okay.
a good point when he discusses the usage of the auto pen. Who was running the country for the past 4 years? Perhaps those documents were signed with the auto pen, something that this, I believe the Department of Justice is looking into. As you saw, Ed Martin made an announcement at the Department of Justice this morning to launch an investigation because the American people deserve answers.
Is there any concern that this president who won the election on a promise to fix the economy and close the border, that focusing and scrutinizing these Biden pardons is looking into the past instead of looking forward?
I think in comparison to the amount of time this president has
I
spent
died.
on securing the border, on fixing our economy, I just read out for you an entire list of economic accomplishments. Look at the border numbers, look at the time and effort he's divulged into solving the global conflicts abroad. It pales in comparison, but it's still, nevertheless, it's a very important issue, and it was a huge issue that sent the president back to this White House. The Americans saw with their own eyes a mentally incompetent president, and they want answers for that, and the president believes they should have
And
them.
something that just
Go ahead.
crossed Caroline, how mad do you think President Trump is going to be when he finds out that Elon Musk said, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive outrageous congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it."
All right, that is a great. I'm glad someone brought that up because Elon is currently beefing with the one big beautiful bill. I have a take about this. My opinion is this is a very good thing. He's not completely audience captured. He's not going to just constantly glaze Trump. He disagrees with Trump on the big beautiful bill, and I think that is healthy for the country. See, I personally am literally a big fan of freedom of speech. I am a fan of a democracy.
Yep.
In some ways, democracy.
Now we got to go up on top of the rock.
We got to repeal it. I don't think everyone's going to right to vote, but that's a discussion for another day. But that's a discussion for another day. I actually have the opinion that it is good to disagree.
Yes, so, disagreeing with the president on the big beautiful bill. I don't necessarily know everything that's in the bill. I kind of just read a basic generic summary of it. I do agree with the cuts. I agree with a couple of the things that are in the bill. I think that the tax cuts in particular are of interest to us American civilians. Definitely reducing the tax burden is a welcome thing. Removing silencers from the NFA, look, if it takes power away from the NFA, you can count on me to support it. Okay? Suppressors should have never been in the NFA anyway, but because we had media organizations that were they're complicit in Hollywood's fake portrayal of how silencers actually work, it caused a lot of panic and stir. Reality is, they're still loud. Guns are still loud, even with a silencer.
Based on your opponents, I think that is a good thing. The fact that right now the Democratic Party is a literal waste paper basket of used tissues, alright? A group of retards sucking each other's feces, alright, with no good ideas, fighting for freaking biological men and women's sports and bathrooms and other ridiculous, literally 90.
So, you're talking about an 80-20 issue. It's not even 80-20, it's like 90-10 or 95-5, right? No one wants men in women's sports. The people that do are ideologically captured extremists who are just in it for probably their own promotion.
10 issues, holy shit, stop! Because of stuff like that, they're so cooked, and it's, I think, unhealthy.
The president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
Yeah, thank you. The National Security Council was reorganized, or some staffing changes were made the Friday before Memorial.
I'm also going to say something about Elon. Elon has a tism. Elon can let the perfect be the enemy of the good very, very quickly. So Trump doesn't do that. Trump sees good. He'd like to get perfect. Everyone would love to see perfect. But it doesn't mean that you will. And sometimes you just got to let the good happen.
Turkey. I'm hoping you can explain.
By the way, just to clarify as to what I think would be perfect. Higher tax penalties for people who export jobs out of America. Lower tax burden on people who bring jobs in. I'd like to see the people who tried to frame Donald Trump the first time go to jail for illicit and illegal prosecution as well as political persecution. I'd like to see taxes disappear 100%, like property tax, income tax, vehicle tax. No, get away with that. Get away from that bullshit. We can go back to tariffs only. Yes, we can start a website and call it Tariffs Only. Or, only tariffs. I think it'd be awesome. The NFA, the GCA, those would be completely annihilated. 100%. There would be a federal requirement for states to protect and defend the Second Amendment on the interstate systems, making it so states like New York can't illegally seize weapons that are going from one state to the next, that they have no authority to do so in the first place. I.e., if I want to go boar hunting in Arkansas and I live in Maine, I should be federally and legally allowed to travel the interstate system from point A to point B, and there should be absolutely nothing that New York State or otherwise should be able to say or do about it, period. Because what I do with my guns is none of their fucking business until it becomes their business, which would be me committing an actual crime with them, not doing a constitutionally protected activity such as transporting my own guns from point A to point B.
Sort of the new structure, what the structure is of the National Security Council, what the goal is in terms of staffing levels. What is the new National Security Council mode? Well, as with
it really isn't a big enough middle finger for New York State.
The president is here. He is president. He's not an auto pen like the previous president was. He's
Can't call Biden an auto pen, bro. Nah, dude, that's crazy.
very much involved in literally every policy discussion and decision
Parfait?
that takes place. And
Are you getting your
we felt it was
parfait?
best to reorganize the National Security Council to respond to that top-down approach that we have here in this White House, and to streamline the efficiency and the effectiveness of the National Security Council. And I would add that Secretary of State Rubio and our National Security Advisor Rubio is doing a tremendous job at leading the National Security Council. He knows the president. He understands where the president is on these issues. He's great to work with here at the White House.
I'm telling you, Rubio's going to be president of the United States.
Nah, I don't know about that.
I'm not saying he'll be 2032, but he will be president of the United States. He's been fucking cooking.
Seeing him a lot more in the building, and he and the president and the entire National Security Council, who's made up of great patriots who love this country, are doing a tremendous job on the many conflicts around the world that this administration inherited.
Is there a staffing level? I'm sorry, is there a goal for the staffing level?
No, there's no goal for that. It's getting a staff that can do the job. If they're not doing the job, get the fuck out of here. Why should I be paying people that aren't doing the job? I hate when these people do this. It's like, how many staff are going to be able to... Stop, bro, stop.
A number of people in this national.
We just wanted
They want it to run, okay? They want to pay people to get it to run efficiently. That's it. Okay, not getting more people than they need to. Not getting less people than they need. They get the best they can. No DEI slop, all right? And they actually just get shit done.
Security Council to be as efficient as possible, and if staffing needs are necessary, I'm sure Secretary Rubio would not mind hiring people if necessary, but again,
I thought it was.
working with
Maybe
them
it's
day
yours.
in and day out, and they're chugging along and doing great work.
Good shit.
Sure.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions, if I can. President Trump got involved himself in presidential election in Poland by supporting a conservative candidate who ultimately won.
Yeah, Polish Trump.
What does it mean for the future?
Polish Trump. Hell no, that guy is basically the doomslayer compared to Trump. Are you kidding? If Trump's a conservative, that man is the butcher. Holy shit. You just there. I don't even think we have a word in the English dictionary for just how based the Polish president is right now. Uber based? Nah, that sounds too German. We're talking about Poland. Just like the man is the Duke Nukem of politics at this point. I've got balls of steel. Because he does. Holy shit.
U.S.-Polish relations, what's likely to change?
Well, I believe
We have elected Polish Terminator. We love his hair is orange and his complexion looks like Trump.
the president is obviously pleased to see the result of the Polish elections. He met with Karol Nawrocki, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yes, Nawrocki. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your insight on that. He met with him at the White House, and he told him, you're going to win because you support common sense, and he supported strong borders. And
Yeah, literally good things that happen. It's crazy. It's like, dude, it's so fucking crazy. Our country should have borders. You racist. Oh my god. Should I get a Polish passport? I literally could get a Polish passport. I don't know. My grandparents were, they were Holocaust survivors from Poland. I can get a Polish passport. For the first time, I'm actually considering it. Not gonna lie.
in Poland, he supported an end to the woke, radical DEI stuff that we've seen not just here in the United States, but really take over Europe and frankly the whole world. He was very outspoken about that. And I was reading the reports about how the Polish people felt about this man, and they felt like he was putting the needs of Poland first. And
That's what every country should do. Every country needs to do
Yeah.
this. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
why
okay. That one was one that I was kind of hoping they'd get to at some point. If you have a country that you work for as a politician, you need to worry about the people of your country, and I don't understand this, like, okay, it's kind of like this. Yeah, that one was me, and it's not showing up. Uh-oh. We might have a little trip in mind tonight.
Why?
I don't know, but let's find out. Something's going on here.
What's up?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It keeps making the noise like it's doing a thing. But there is no thing to be seen. It's weird.
Your phone's doing a thing?
Is this a
Yeah.
weather warning?
No, if it was, my phone would be going berserk right about now. No, it's acting like there's messages on my phone, but there's nothing there. Yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you that your windows on your vehicle are
No, we're fine on that. I know my windows are down.
Yeah, they are down.
They're down because that car needs to air the out. No, it's just it's making the you have a message noise, and
you don't.
I don't. It's weird. There's not even like a weather update or something to, signify that it did a thing. If you're the leader of a country, the first thing you need to do is put that country first. You were elected or hired by those people to do their bidding. Okay? That's why in the United States, when we elect a president, we expect him to put our country ahead of all the others. Because that is his job. Okay? That is what he got hired to do. It's like when you're working on a car, right? A customer hires you to fix their car, not to spray paint it pink and put a bunch of dog poop in the back seat. Okay? That's just not why we elect a president. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there who think that that's okay, but those people are generally mentally unwell to begin with. But yeah, moving on.
Thing. It's like people in England, literally Pakistan first. Oh, why are you Pakistan first? You have people in England getting raped and murdered and shit. Like, how on? Pakistan first, fine. We gotta respect Pakistan for a second there.
That's a very refreshing feeling, one that we know very well here in the United States of America. So, as you know, the United States and Poland have always had a very deep and strong relationship, friendship. They're a great ally, and I know the president continues to look forward to working with them.
We have one more on Ukrainian drone attack on Russia. Was President Trump informed in advance by Ukraine?
I doubt it.
No.
The attack is coming.
I doubt it, and Ukraine did not need to do that. Trump is acting like an impartial mediator between the two, not calling anyone out specifically. Poland, Ukraine should not have told Trump. That's my opinion. Hot take. They did not need to tell Trump.
He was not. Carrie.
Caroline, so going back to the issue on the anti-Christian bias as well as the mixed messages, Senator Grassley just put out a report saying that the FBI files have shown that the Catholic group targeting was way more prevalent within the FBI during the Biden era than was previously shown, as far as former FBI Director Christopher Wray was putting out there during congressional testimony. Can you discuss here what President Trump would like to see in terms of consequences within the FBI as far as those who were involved? Also, the second question, if the DOJ finds that the auto pen was used by President Biden, should those actions that were used with the auto pen, should they be null and void?
I'm not going to get ahead of the Department of Justice's investigation into the usage of the auto pen. And the question is not, was the auto pen used? It's whether or not the President of the United States knew it was being used, and if not, who was using it in his name, which is clearly illegal behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Caroline.
God, I so badly want to know. I want to know who ran the country. God damn it. I want to know who ran the country.
Foreign policy, one domestic, if I can. Sure. And foreign, just
Me
speaking
too.
to the president's Truth Social post about Iran recently, I'm saying that there will be no uranium enrichment. Is he saying that that's a red line for him, or no?
I already answered this question. The president's been very clear about where he stands on that.
Okay, and then on domestic.
Why do these people need to keep asking the same question 47 times?
It's a waste
I
time.
don't actually want an answer or something.
There's a report that Laura Loomer met with the vice president today. Can you speak to her relationship with the administration and if,
Laura Lunar, isn't she Laura Lunar?
Laura Loomer.
Like, why wouldn't a journalist meet up with the
She's
vice
a
president?
journalist. She's a shock journalist, but she's still a journalist.
Advising in any way?
She is not. I do know she met with the vice president. As for what was discussed in that meeting, I would defer you to his team.
Thanks, Caroline. I have one question on anti-Semitism, one question on China. So for years, radical leftists,
China and anti-Semitism, the two big ones.
and Islamists have been calling for so-called globalized the Intifada.
I'm so glad people are actually finally talking about this. You don't understand what it's been like. You do not understand what it's been like to be a Jew in
Nux.
America.
I might not be Jewish.
Globalize the Intifada.
I don't know what that feels like, Nux. But, buddy, you want to know what really, really got under my skin? Not being able to speak out against it. Because every time I tried to, or people like me wanted to, we got friggin' banned off of every platform that didn't support, shutting it down. Okay? Baby, where did we put my leatherback Bible?
I don't remember where we put it.
It's probably on the couch under my electronic stuff. Look, I know that sounds bad to say that kind of thing about a Bible, but hear me out. I have 5 in this house. Okay, I could Bible thump all day. As a non-Jewish Christian, as an individual of, I'm not going to say high morals, but definite Christian faith. Okay? I understand that it is my place to not really defend the Jews or the Jewish people from any and everything that can go wrong against them, because realistically speaking, they are their own people, and I'm not going to infantilize anybody. But
Dang it.
there is a certain level of not really responsibility, but keeping culture from hitting a certain point, like, you know, we saw in World War II with Nazi Germany and trying to burn Jews out of their country, literally. Okay? When you say stuff like Antifada or globalize the Antifada or from the river to the sea, you know, because you want to exterminate the Jewish people, that's kind of where the line's at. Okay? You've just crossed it.
You have no idea how fucking insane it sounded. Alright? Globalize the Intifada means kill Jews around the world. Alright? That's the Intifada. Alright? Globalize it means kill Jews around the world. And this was a chant, a public chant that was literally being chanted in college campuses, in streets, and it's fucking horrifying. Alright? You probably don't know about this because they don't. Who the fuck knows what Intifada means? The only person who knows what Intifada means is only Jews know what that shit means. Jews and Muslims. Alright? Those are the only people that actually know what that means. And hearing that literally getting chanted, and it is a direct call to violence, and that is getting chanted in every street in America for like years, and Biden was just like, la 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 la.
Do you believe this is a call for violence against Jews? And do you think
so.
these attacks on Jews around our country is what globalizing the Intifada looks like?
I don't want to speak to the merits of those claims without looking into them, but as I said, any violence against Jewish Americans will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Absolutely, and also Secretary of State Rubio making announcements saying he'll be revoking visas of certain Chinese students, including those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party.
Yes, that needs to happen. They are a security risk. Students, quote unquote, are used to steal intellectual property rights all the damn time. They get their hands on it and they just friggin' take off with it to China. And then the next thing you know, something that was supposed to be made in America is being cheaply manufactured overseas by someone who doesn't even know what the product is typically designed to do. They just know that they can make it cheaper because they have a slave labor workforce, basically.
Sons and daughters of politicians, presidents, and chairmen?
Who cares?
Secretary of State Rubio.
Literally, who cares? Well, why would you treat them any differently? Huh?
Has the right to revoke visas, and he made the announcement that the State Department will begin to aggressively revoke those visas of Chinese students who are in our country,
Ready?
those with Chinese Communist Party ties, or those who could be a threat to our national security and the interests of the United
Good.
States. Should both of you, go ahead and then.
Thank you. There are now reports that Israeli forces are firing on Palestinians trying to get aid from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Up to 20 people, according to the Red Cross, have arrived to the hospital that they've set up with gunshot wounds, have died from them. Is this administration aware of these? And I mean, what is being done to address this situation?
The administration is aware of those reports, and we are currently looking at the veracity of them. Fortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with
fucking finally, holy based. Oh my god. You
Yep.
have no idea how awesome it is to hear someone actually talk about these details in real life.
Oh, I'm
Dude,
just
when you get every media
hiding so I
pundit
can get
on
my
the
shield
planet,
back.
Fucking retards at the BBC and Hassan and every leftist pundit on the planet, literally just echoing Hamas. They're terrorists, rapists, murderers, baby killers. Like, why the flying shit do we take them at face value literally ever? Oh my god! Holy base! Bro!
Total truth. We like to look into it when they speak, unlike the BBC, who had multiple headlines. They wrote, Israeli tank kills 26. Israeli tank.
I am so happy she's bringing this shit up. You have no idea. You have no idea how happy I am that they are literally bringing this up. Hassan, dude, if you didn't watch my Hassan Piker's 550% fuck video, which should be out by the time that this one's out, you will know
It was.
exactly
It was
what
actually
I'm
up
talking
before,
about.
but yes.
Because he directly promoted this exact shit. Let me show you. This is Hassan retweeting a debunked article from the New York Times saying Israeli troops opened fire near Gaza. Aid site the military said Gazan officials, right, Hamas, said 27 people were killed. And Hassan says this is as close to a non-passive voice headline as you're going to get from the premier contextualizers of Israeli violence. Tide shift. Use the momentum. Keep up the pressure. Do not succumb to pessimism. This is him literally signaling a already debunked fake news article, propaganda pushed by Hamas terrorists. Okay? Directly pushing this shit into the... This is a blood libel. For those of you that don't know what blood libels are, this is an ancient act where, people would blame Jews for murdering babies as an excuse to murder Jews. This is literally blood libels, and they don't care about the truth. So the crazy thing is, this New York Times article was before the verification, and it was then verified. It was then verified that it was fake, and Hamas murdered their own people. But by the time Hassan made his tweet, it was already verified. And he retweeted this anyway, knowing it was verified that Hamas murdered their own people, which is insanity. Complete and utter insanity.
Tank kills 21. Israeli gunfire kills 31. Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident. And then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story.
Yep, they
saying
did.
We reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
Yes! I covered this in Hassan Piker's 550% fucked. These propagandists, terrorist dick suckers are literally causing violence. They are. Because when you make these claims, talking about, you don't understand what the claim is. The claim is Israel is giving food to hungry people in Gaza to lure them to them so they can then murder them. That's the claim Hassan is making. When in reality, Hamas murdered their own people because they didn't want them to take food from Israel and America. So they murdered their own people to blame it on Israel instead. And Hassan and the BBC and the New York Times, they jump on the fucking Hamas terrorist propaganda train and literally push that shit. And the BBC took down their article. After 100 million people read the article, 100 million people read the article. And then they're like, oops, sorry, we had no evidence to this article. Oops, my bad. We had nothing, we had no evidence at all.
Oh, okay. So we're going to look into reports.
Oh, she's fucking cooking.
Before we confirm them from this podium or before we take action. And I suggest that journalists who actually care about truth do the same to reduce the amount of misinformation that's going around the globe on the...
Oops! We lied! By the way, this is like the 10th lie that I've seen come out of the basic media in this regard in like the last 2 weeks. I don't know if any of you remember the 14,000 babies hoax. There was a hoax that was pushed where they said 14,000
Oh, we gotta
babies
go do it again because I stepped on the wrong fucking glyph.
And then they quickly deleted that article and were like, oh, did we say 14,000 babies are going to die in the next day? We meant die in the next year if no food comes in. No shit. No shit they're going to die if no food comes in the next year. Like, what is even happening? And the amount of hoaxes that get pushed again and again and again, and you get literal terrorist, cum-guzzling dick suckers like Hassan Piker on Twitch pushing that shit. And to be honest, the BBC, I don't know what the fuck they've been doing.
That's right.
John, the change in the leadership of the organization, what does that mean going forward, and why so early on is this happening?
Oh, dude, Hassan is fucking, he's gonna be mad. He's gonna be mad. He's not gonna react to this.
Witness.
But he's not gonna react to this.
What organization?
Humanitarian Foundation.
Well, look, this was a creative idea that the president called for to get aid into the region. These people were desperate and starving, and the president didn't like seeing imagery of that, and he wanted to ensure that aid was brought in with the approval of Israel for understandable
And
reasons.
slashed
Never
ghost.
forget,
Alright, I got this.
October 7th. And again, this is something that the previous administration was unwilling to put the time and effort into doing. John.
Incredibly massive W. Trump. By the way, in case you wanted some extra details, 3 days later, the Washington Post admits, oops, we blindly trusted Hamas and ran the story without doing any journalism. The early versions fell short of the Post standards of fairness, and oops, we shouldn't have published it. Yeah, it got millions of views, but oops, we published it. My bad. Oopsie poopsie. Another hot take, in case you're curious. This is Hamas announcing field executions of Palestinians who got food. What? Huh? What are we talking about? What are you talking about? No, that's not normal. That is not normal. Alright, and dude, you get tons of these clips of people in Gaza thanking Trump for food. Bless Trump. Thank you, Trump. May the one who feeds me. May God bless him. Trump feeds us while Hamas starves us. God bless the Americans. They're giving us flour and food. Yeah, this isn't in the media. This Hassan won't report, obviously. But, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy seeing this shit happen.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. I want to bring it back to the way you began your briefing, talking about the president's mass deportation program and his priorities. 40%.
Just to be clear, I think this is important to mention also. The people that are pro-Hamas are anti-Palestinian. They are anti the Gazan civilians. If they're pro-Hamas, they hate the Palestinians. Okay? Because the Palestinians are protesting against Hamas. Hamas is executing them. for eating Israeli food, okay? They are the villains. Hamas are terrorist motherfuckers. Holy shit.
Crop farm workers in the U.S. are undocumented, and that's according to the Agriculture Department. Do they have a carve-out in terms of the president's mass deportation program?
The president and the Trump administration have been very clear. If you are in the country illegally, you are subject to deportation.
Base!
Concerned that given that large number, if that number is correct, 40% of crop farm workers being undocumented, that could impact the food supply here in America if those...
Well, gee, we have how many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of federal workers who just got laid off? Maybe we could put them to work. Just a thought.
Individuals that obviously help pick crops all across the country are deported en masse.
Again, this administration is focused on deporting individuals who are in our country illegally. It's something we have to do. We cannot allow the previous administration's invasion of our country of illegal immigrants to continue. We just can't have it. And this is a law and order president. As for our farmers and their concerns,
crazy even
they
listening
have
to
a
this
president who has their backs.
People literally yammering and jammering. Dude, are they in the country illegally? Yes? Get them out. It is that simple. You know, it really is that simple. There's a line of people trying to get into the country legally. Why are we rewarding the ones that broke in? Like, I don't even know. I don't even fucking know.
And listens to their concerns and hears them, but we also have a legal pathway to come to this country and work in it specifically for agricultural work. So there's a legal way to do it, and we encourage that legal pathway, and we're currently working on strengthening our legal immigration system for that reason. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline. I just wanted to follow up on your statement last week regarding the report. Sure. You said that there was, you said, I understand there were some formatting issues with the Maha report that are being addressed, and that report will be updated. We also understand that since that, there have been some citations that came about. There's citations of studies that either did not exist or did not back up the report's conclusions. So when you were referring to formatting errors, is that what you were talking about, or was it, so could you just explain that?
Yep, that's what I was talking about. There were formatting
errors.
And those
Good job.
were updated by the proper...
We fixed that. Nice, love that.
White House,
Great question.
Was issued. So exactly what I said took place. Sure, go ahead, Alan.
Look at the passive-aggressive face.
The report was issued. So exactly what I said took place.
Yep. You know how I said something would happen, and then it happened? It happened.
Sure, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
good to see you. Congresswoman Mary Miller suggested that changing Pride Month to Family Month. I would personally like to see maybe a Nuclear Family Month. Some people are saying...
Nuclear! Drop the N-bomb!
Let's get a Veterans Month. Does the president have any plans on making a proclamation, or is it just going to be June this year?
Oh my god.
Or is it just going to be June this year?
Like, why are we doing this, bro? Oh my god. Do people not know pride is a sin? I don't understand. Like, dude, when they wrote
I'm for Family Month. I like that idea.
Understandable irony there, right? Like, you know pride is a sin. They named it a sin. It's like, it's absolutely insanity.
Like a month of, family-oriented stuff. Take your kids to work days or something. Yeah, I'm back up, baby.
Okay, good. There are no plans for a proclamation for the month of June, but I can tell you...
It'll be Gulf of America month. We'll be remembering how the Gulf of America is renamed. No more dead names.
This president is very proud to be a president for all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed.
So you can't be proud of your kid? Are you retarded on purpose, or are you doing it by accident? I don't mean to insult you, person in chat. I'm just asking a genuine question.
And then I'll go to you.
Obviously, everything to an extreme is evil. No shit, everything to an extreme is evil. Lust is bad, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to be attracted to your wife. What are you even talking about?
Colorado passed sanctuary protections for illegals 1 month before the terrorist attack this weekend. 2 questions. Why did the DHS remove the sanctuary cities list that it had published, which was ordered by the president? And then what is the administration going
Behind
to do
us.
to further crack down on sanctuary jurisdictions to prevent attacks like what happened in Colorado?
Sure. The Department of Homeland Security will be issuing a new list of sanctuary cities, an accurate list of sanctuary cities. As to what we're doing,
Well, at least I took out the brig first.
various executive orders and has directed the Attorney General to prosecute state and local officials who are not complying with federal immigration authorities and, most importantly, federal immigration law.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. So, does the IRS take calls from foreign leaders
I'm gonna be like, did you die too?
tariffs on steel and
Yeah, I did, but it didn't matter because I killed the brig.
tomorrow morning?
The president will be signing that executive order today, and steel and aluminum tariffs will be going to 50%, yes.
He's going to change or he's going to be suspended?
He made that announcement in Pennsylvania, and he plans to deliver on that promise.
Yep, the thing that he said he's gonna do is the thing he's gonna do. It's a novel concept in America, but yep.
To Pennsylvanians. And Ed, go ahead. I can answer that, but go ahead, Ed.
Oh, yes, thank you. So a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson today said that the U.S. imposed harmful measures like chip controls and pledging to revoke Chinese student visas. So are the Chinese the victims in this trade back and forth?
Victims? Victims?
They're not victims. They've been victimizing our economy for fucking decades.
Stop the victim shit. No more neo-Marxist, oppressee.
Agreed.
Super
Yeah,
oppressor,
that's another
victim
thing that needs to
bullshit.
fucking
No more
stop.
of this narrative. Victims? Holy Lord. Bro, dude, what are we even talking? Actual retard detectives. Bro, China has been hiking up tariffs on America for years. We are the victims, okay? Stop. What is even happening? Bro.
Look, I don't think anyone is the victim. These are
Oh,
two countries. And
Two strong countries that can handle themselves and that are trying to find
Yeah,
the best thing
exactly.
possible for their own civilians. Yeah.
Said the president has a good relationship with China's president and leader, and that discussion will take place later this week.
What other authorities is the president looking at for tariffs should the decision in the appeals court not go his direction?
Well, right now, his tariffs remain in effect. We spoke at length in my briefing last week about that decision that came down from the International Trade Court, which has been put on pause because the president absolutely does have the authority to implement tariffs and to declare a national emergency for our crippling trade deficit. He could always have the power to use Section 202 or Section 301 as well to impose tariffs if he deems necessary, especially Section 202 tariffs, which are sectoral, as you know, to protect our critical supply chains here at home.
Thanks, Caroline.
You're welcome.
You've got U.S. business leaders begging for certainty. So why did the president suddenly decide to hike tariffs on steel and aluminum again?
You also have U.S. business leaders begging to meet with this president.
Yeah.
And begging,
Everyone wants
to
a
come
piece
to
of the
White House
Trump.
to talk to
Everyone
him
wants some
because they
Trump.
know that he is a negotiator in chief, that he's making good deals on behalf of the American worker and the steel worker, in particular when it comes to the steel and aluminum tariffs, which he discussed in his speech at length in Pennsylvania, and the need for them. And I would just add, I was at that speech on Friday with the president, and there were 2,000 steel workers and their families in the room, many of them wearing their hard hats. I spoke to one backstage who said this is the greatest thing that has happened for that community in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 60 years. Because this is a president who doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk, and he's delivering on his promises to bolster our steel and aluminum industries in this country and to protect those
Everyone's
jobs.
like, wait a second, the president actually follows through with the things he promises the American people? But the last president, I mean, the auto pen didn't do that.
If not for this president, that steel plant in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania would have closed. Those jobs would have been lost. And the president saved that company, he saved those jobs, and he's saving that community. And that's the intention of the steel tariffs, which he will sign later this afternoon. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you.
That was a really great press briefing, I'm not gonna lie. Hassan Piker is literally 550% fucked right now. He is so fucked, it's like 550% fucked. Holy shit, she cooked so hard. Get the fucking terrorists out of here. Enough of the terrorists, enough of the foreign nationals, enough of the immigrants and the illegal people that directly want to destroy Western civilization. Enough of all of that shit.
Excuse me.
Dude, absolute cooking. That was today's episode of Cooking with Caroline. Definitely subscribe to keep you up to date.
Oh, we will be, actually. I already am. Ha.
And insulting people if they deserve it. If they're retards, we will call them retards. It's what we do. It is my God-given right. And I will continue doing that. I'll see you in the next one, gamers. And remember, stay weird, fam.
Just as a thing, we're going to actually
kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.
gonna grab his URL is Earl.
So
And
I've seen these commercials. I think like everybody's seen these commercials about like online game ads, and I've always been wondering like.
I'll watch that in a minute. That has to do with online mobile games and stuff. And That has me very intrigued. Okay, I need to go into... Where? That's new. Alright, well, anyway, as a part of the stream, I'm going to go into... I'm going to have to go into them individually now, but... we're going to paste up in the description, yeah, because I can't just edit it from the page. Okay, and I have to go to my content on Rumble. I have to edit thumbnail description. Yeah, all's good. Clash of Titans. My thing didn't put through your message. That is so lame. Oh, someone put through a message and I didn't get it until it was too late. Because I got friggin' bot spammed about Discord and crap. That is so garbage. That is so garbage. Kick, you need to fix that. Yeah. Yeah, so, in a nutshell, people are about to people have fucked around, and they're currently in the process of figuring out how badly they're about to find out. One of those people is going to end up being Hassan Piker. Mr. We support Hamas over there on Twitch. What a fucking disgrace of a platform. Despite Kick's probably many failings, that ain't one of them. We're probably going to be looking at... Let's see. I think there's probably going to be a couple defamation lawsuits that he's going to have to fucking deal with. And if I had to guess, he's probably looking at material support for terrorism. That's a pretty close to accurate summation, I would say. It is a very large possibility. And to Dan, the man who manages or rather owns and operates Twitch right now, you, sir, have failed your platform. To paraphrase the Green Arrow. If you want to fix it, Hassan gets a permaban. Period. And Frogan gets a strike. And anyone else who promotes or supports a terrorist organization, they can get stuffed as well. Otherwise, your platform is garbage, and your advertisers are going to treat you like a leper. Because, see, they don't believe in anything that you believe in. Which isn't much, by the way. I've seen what's on your phone. The only thing you believe in is gooning. You're probably the biggest gooner of a CEO we've ever seen publicly exposed. I'm not necessarily shaming you for it, but, it's still kind of gross, dude. You're, 70, 80 years old, something like that, and you're fawning over images of nearly naked women on your phone that are probably fake to begin with. I mean, everyone deserves a hobby, I guess, but you probably could have picked one that was a little less grody. Anyway, just calling it like I sees it. But yeah, and I can get away with saying that shit. Married, bitch. What's your excuse? My guess, and this is again just another opinion, is that you're probably such a repulsive human being that you probably couldn't be married. That's just my little stab in the dark, but who knows? Anyway, if you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button. We intend to do a couple more of these at some point, but this one seemed important because, well, there's a lot going on in the world, and I think it's important that while we do gaming videos, we should also be apprised as to what's going on around our surroundings. I don't need to fall into a ice-covered lake because I failed to pay attention to my surroundings. And if you don't get that reference, go watch a movie and read a book. Jeez. Anyway,